Hey, good day. My name is Matt Hines. I'm the Vice President of Marketing at CipherCloud. We're joined today by one of our technical experts, Mahesh Rashakanda, who's our VP of Product and Solutions Engineering. Mahesh, to jump right in.
Yeah, today's environment is completely different. DLP traditionally has worked within the enterprise perimeter. Now there is no perimeter. Enterprise data has gone to the cloud and users are everywhere, especially in the remote work situation. They're logging in from the unmanaged devices, right? Their own laptops, their own mobile devices, and that broad network access of the cloud is also another aspect, right? Put together, these days, enterprises don't own the network, they don't own the devices, right? They don't own the application, but still the needs of compliance, the needs of conforming to the best security practices, all those still apply. So that's the challenge, right? How do you work with the couple of things you have control on? Number one, the identity, and number two, the data, right? These are the two things that the enterprises are owning today, but all the other requirements from the security and compliance standpoint, they still apply to the cloud situation. So that's the biggest challenge that we have been hearing from pretty much every customer.
A good point to start talking about, what is the way to actually handle this?
Yes, a good DLP policy engine, first of all, gives the information security personnel the ability to author the exact policies that they want. So when you look at an advanced policy engine like CipherCloud CASB Plus, you would expect to see that there is a notion of the identity of the actor, right? Who is the subject? Is it a user group, right? Or a managed device or a managed device? And then what are they working on? Now, content-wise, what is the sensitivity? Is it already classified, right? And does it match the existing data in terms of customer names or account numbers or credit card numbers or whatnot? Is it an image, right? Do we need to run through optical character recognition and understand the sensitivity of the image or screen grab? And then data exists in multiple forms, structured or unstructured, email, right? Does it contain any threats? So there are lots of attributes to the object the user is dealing with. And then under what environment, right? Is the interaction happening within a certain geographic region, or is it happening from browsers or thick clients like a email client or whatnot? And then what is the subject trying to do? Is it an upload type of activity to the cloud or download, or is it a collaboration type of activity? So based on a number of these contextual attributes, the policy engine has to make a decision that, okay, this is allowed or denied at a very basic level. But if it is something that the user has to be aware of, a policy is in place, then coach the user that, look, you are about to upload some sensitive data to the cloud. Are you sure about what you're doing, right? If so, provide the justification. Or prove the identity if you're trying to dump out data from HR directory, Salesforce accounts or whatnot. And then a whole bunch of other actions as well to give the user a chance to remediate any policy violation, remove public links. We all know about S3, public links, how popular they are. And then fit into the enterprise, classification framework as well to make use of the AAP or type of labelings. So there are lots of moving parts to the policy, but the information security has to be able to take many attributes that you are seeing on the screen, right, and be able to author a fine-grained policy so that the cloud user is working within those guardrails, right, and the cloud user is able to actually perform business functions normally. So that's the power of an advanced policy engine.
And I think, Mahesh, this is where you're actually going to jump into product and begin to walk people through some of the capabilities that we're working on with our customers these days.
Absolutely, yes. So let me get the demo set up. and I hope you're able to see my screen. So I'm a typical business user, and I have the data that I have to work with, right? Perhaps it contains credit card numbers. So let me go ahead and open the file. And as you can see, the file has certainly a number of credit card numbers, financial information, right? Now, by policy of my company, when I try to upload or send this data to the cloud, here I have the example of Box, right? When I try to upload the file to Box, by policy, I should be made aware that, look, this is not a normal file, and it has PCI content. So here it is, right? Now the system is actually coaching me that, dear user, you're dealing with sensitive content, and it has PCI sensitive data. So by policy, you have to provide a justification, right? If I were to upload a normal file that doesn't have PCI data, I won't see this message. And of course, you can customize the content and the logos and all that here to suit your company's needs. So I go ahead and upload the document to Box, and the document is up there, and I can open it and make use of the file, right? Like I should be. So a very powerful use case to make sure that the content is, can be uploaded under the guardrails, right? So next I'm going to jump to Teams, right? Microsoft Teams. We have seen an explosion of collaboration amongst especially the remote workers. They are all, sitting at their home, right, trying to work, and then there are messages going between the teams, between the members of the teams, right? Now it's very easy to fat finger a user ID or whatnot, and share content that should not be shared, right? So let's take a look at the secure collaboration use case. In this case, we are starting a conversation, right, and picking sensitive content from my system here, uploading that to Teams, and then there is the ability to share the content, right? Within Teams, very common. In a typical enterprise, thousands of shares happen on a daily basis. So what I'm doing here is to pick up the file and then open up the sharing aspect, right? And I'm sharing, and I might have picked. It's very easy to actually pick the wrong user ID, an unauthorized user from the list, right? It may be my ignorance, or it's an accident, but either way, the collaboration should not be allowed in this particular case. But I went ahead and tried that anyway as the user. And the product, right? CASB product has the capability to apply the policy. So first of all, it is actually scanning the content, right? Just to put this into perspective, the DLP engine is scanning the content, understanding that the content has PCI data, and collaborating or sharing the file with unauthorized users is not allowed. And then it actually has removed, right, the user that I shared with earlier, right? So very powerful case here. There are lots of other related use cases as well, to post messages, to kind of add members to the Teams channel, right? That's not allowed by policy, etc. So all those aspects are covered by the policy engine by combining DLP or content scanning with a number of other aspects that we already looked at, like users, groups, right? The collaboration type, is it a internal sharing or external sharing or whatnot? We are seeing similar things in Slack as well. Yeah. All right, so let me go ahead and jump to OneDrive. In this particular use case, we're going to basically look at the ability to read existing enterprise classifications, right? And then based on the content inspection. So here I'm showing that the content, actually the file has sensitive information, financial information, right? And then by policy, it should be actually highly confidential data, right? So the document was created by somebody, they classified that as sensitive. We can actually look at the labeling as well in just a minute. So let me go ahead and open the label here and then show the AAP label, right? So here you see that it is actually classified as sensitive. Now, what we are going to do is to upload this file to Microsoft OneDrive. And then the policy behind the scenes, DLP policy, is actually configured to read the existing labels and also scan for the sensitive content, right, for the presence of financial information. And then if the financial information is there, of course, the document should be classified as highly confidential, right? So the policy will actually reclassify the document to make sure that the information policy is keeping classification up to date. So let me go ahead and open up the classification, the labels here, and scroll down there. There it is, right? So as you can see, now the document is reclassified as highly confidential. So this kind of shows the power of the platform, right? You apply a label to the best of your knowledge, then somebody else edited the data, the document, added some financial information, which is at a higher level of classification, run it through the DLP engine, and then the DLP engine is capable of reading the existing label, also understand the DLP content, and reclassify. So this kind of shows how the enterprise boundaries can be stretched to harness the clouds up there. Next up, I'm going to jump to ServiceNow. And here, again, very common use case for an enterprise user to work with the structured data clouds like ServiceNow, Salesforce, SuccessFactors, Workday, right? And it's very easy to actually put sensitive content into description fields or whatnot, right? Which are magnets for sensitive data. So I'm entering the social security number here, right? And then submitting this new problem, right, record to ServiceNow. Now by policy, SSMs cannot go in there, right? So CASB product intervened and masked the information, right? The SSM now is removed and it's been masked to stay compliant with the policy. So a very powerful use case to again work with not only unstructured data, but also the structured information. Right, moving on to the next use case. This is again a very popular use case to allow download of sensitive information to managed devices and deny downloads to unmanaged devices. Again, I just want to remind everyone that the goal here is not to prevent the user from going to Salesforce, right? We want all the enterprise users, all the authenticated users to be able to make good use of Salesforce. But if they're trying to dump out sensitive data to unmanaged devices or unsafe locations, detect that and disallow just that aspect, right? So here I have a browser, and the certificate that we have put into the browser to denote that it is a managed device, right? So the managed device basically is logged into Salesforce, of course, through a single sign-on process here, which is very common. And once we are in Salesforce, right, we're going to look at the reports is a very common use case, right? Whether you have a list of accounts or whatnot containing sensitive information. So as the user, I'm able to actually view the Salesforce accounts, and I'll try to download this information. right? And remember, I'm on a managed device provided by the organization, so I'm all good here. So I should be able to export the information and make use of the information that I just downloaded from the cloud. And as you can see, the download is all good. Right now, I'm gonna go to the unmanaged device. Right, I switched browsers and I'm going to the unmanaged device, and I'm trying to download information, right, from Salesforce. Again, same account, same user ID, same account, same report. Right, when I try to export, right, I expect the product to intervene and say that, well, you're actually on unmanaged device, right? As you can see out here, you're on managed device. So by policy, you're not allowed to dump out this data, right? Sensitive data onto unmanaged device. You can do the same thing for the unsafe locations as well, meaning that if the device is actually in the United States, allow for that. But if the device has moved to, Asia, right, deny. So very powerful way of allowing the user to make use of the cloud, but prevent, unauthorized downloads. And then we're gonna move on to the next use case, which is email, right? Very powerful tool for any enterprise, right? As much as we take email for granted, it's an essential service. And how many times have you seen an email coming from one of your customers or fellow employees that, look, I accidentally sent that email to you. Can you please, delete that, right? They are trying to recall their message. And the reason why that happened is they accidentally, without their knowledge, right, that a particular document should not be shared, they went ahead and sent it, and somebody prompted them that, look, you sent that email and you should not have. So, again, that's a very relevant scenario in which DLP can be applied. The content can be scanned, and the accidental emailing to unauthorized users can be prevented, right? So here we are going to author an email and send it to some Hotmail or Gmail address, right? And then provide sensitive content as part of the email. So we are going to go ahead and attach the same credit card file that we have seen earlier, and then send this email out. Now, what the CASB product does is to examine the email content using the DLP engine and DLP policy, and then make sure that the untrusted users are actually removed. So obviously, you cannot see the email that's not delivered, right? But we are showing the audit of the product. You can see that the user has actually tried to send the email to a Gmail account, and that has been removed, right? Because the content has PCI data. So protecting the data, whether it appears in unstructured nature of the cloud or structured nature, such as ServiceNow or email, right? All of those use cases can be addressed by the DLP engine. So at CipherCloud, we pay close attention to DLP. It's the heart of CASB as such. So here, we're going to show actually how elaborate the policy engine is, right? Out of the box, we provide more than 1,000 templates and data types. And just to show an example of the library, right? The DLP library that we provide. If you were to take a policy like HIPAA, you can see how extensive it is, right? Which is a collection of multiple identifiers, by means of regular expressions, keywords, thousands of keywords, etc., right? So the ability to actually combine these data types and templates in a way that is effective for the organization, that reduces false positives and also covers for all the data that should be flagged as a violation by the DLP engine. So again, getting into the details here, you can see how elaborate the HIPAA, data type is within our product. So let's take a look at the policy, right? Real quick. Once you have the rich DLP content library, you can actually configure a policy. We already walked through what kind of attributes are possible, right, as part of the policy engine. So you can pick the attributes, right, users, groups or whatnot. You can pick the type of DLP rule template. Out of the box, we provide 1,000 plus again. And you have the capability to actually control sharing, right, here. And then based on all these input, parameters, you have the capability to take actions. You can take action on the content. You can take action on the collaboration aspects. And after you have taken one action, you have the capability to apply secondary actions as well, right? For example, you can say that, well, I want the document to be redacted, the collaboration to be removed, and also send a notification to the user, right? As an example. So multiple actions are possible all through one framework, a single policy. So this is the power of the DLP engine. A single policy can be applied to multiple clouds, and then multiple actions can be taken for a single policy violation as well. And then applying DLP policy is one thing, but the governance aspects are very important as well, right? To be able to understand what the policy engine did. Again, when it comes to governance of DLP, knowing the behavior of DLP policies, reducing false positives by even deferring the enforcement actions, right? And then even combining the intelligence of DLP with other aspects of information governance, right? Security governance, such as taking all those inputs into enterprise SIM and drawing higher levels of intelligence. That's also very important. So the dashboard helps you see how the policy has been acting, right? Whether the policy is remediating something, right? Encrypting content using DRM or whatnot. So we provide multiple charts out of the box to slice and dice through the data. It's all interactive. You can click anywhere and then get to the details. Within the platform, there are multiple events that we observe, right? Whether the user is actually interacting with the cloud in the inline mode or using APIs, etc. So we collect the information, we curate it, we enrich it, right? And we provide 60 plus attributes for every user cloud touch point, which is very powerful. This notion of user and entity behavior analytics resulting from the DLP policy actions can actually be fed into your enterprise SIM, where you can correlate that information and draw some higher levels of intelligence. So this is the kind of framework that is available as part of the CASB product to take an advanced DLP engine to be able to apply that to every user cloud interaction, and then fit that into the enterprise governance process as well. Right, I know we touched on a lot of points, a number of use cases, number of clouds, right, and the governance aspects as well.
Thanks very much, Mahesh. Great demo, and I think very indicative of the kind of DLP policy oversight management capabilities that we can provide and that our customers are coming to us for today.
Yeah, thanks, Matt.
Thank you.